Hello everyone. Today's lesson is full of gifts. We start with a sphere, not a circle. Draw the center line a bit to the left, since the head looks that way. As it turns, move the lines along the sphere, just like in real life. Now add the brow line, crossing the center line. It curves downward because the head is looking down. Perfect. Move down and draw the nose line in the lower third, keeping it parallel to the brow line. Measure the same distance upward to draw the hairline. Then measure from the center of the circle to the right side in the right third and mark the point. This gives you the edge of the oval, where the side plane, hairline, and nose line meet. Now connect the chin to the sphere. Add a center line on the side plane to divide the face from the side. Draw the chin line at the same level as the nose, touching the sphere. It starts from the middle of the side plane, angles down from the ear, and drops the same distance below. This forms a box-like chin that, when joined with the sphere, creates a realistic head shape. Now let's draw the ears. They'll be the first facial feature we add, because from them, we'll define the neck and later the hair. The height of the ear matches the distance between the brow line and the nose line. So, the top of the ear aligns with the brow line and the bottom sits right on the nose line. Next, we draw the necklines, starting from the ears, moving downward in straight strokes. Look carefully at your reference. Check where each line of the neck ends and how wide the neck and shoulders should be compared to the head. This step gives your drawing balance and a solid structure. It connects the head naturally to the body and prepares us to build the hairstyle later on. Now it's time to draw the hair, and we'll start it right from the ear. As you draw, imagine the hair wrapping around the sphere of the head. Think about how it follows the round form and connects naturally to the ear. This simple observation makes the process much easier and more believable. Once the base of the face is in place, we can begin to add curves that define the hairline. Start with a gentle curve near the left eye and notice how it cuts slightly into the sphere along the eye line. This little cut helps you feel the depth and volume of the head. Keep your strokes light and confident, as if you're sculpting the shape of the hair over the head's surface. You'll start to see the flow, the rhythm, and the structure of the hairstyle. And now, look at that! The face is appearing beautifully, and everything starts to come to life. Wow, it's really taking shape. Now I'll continue drawing the hairline from the front of the forehead. I'll keep it at a slight distance above the brow line and slowly bring it down until I reach the sideburns. This helps me see how the hair naturally frames the face. Next, I'll start building the nose mass, beginning from the left brow on the left side of the face. That point helps define the width of the brow and gives me a clear place to anchor the nose. From the brow, I'll draw a diagonal line downward, carefully observing its angle and how it relates to the brow itself. That straight line shows me where the nose ends, and from there, I can draw the bottom plane of the nose. Now, the nose starts to take form. I can see the top plane, the side plane, and the bottom plane, while the far side remains slightly hidden. To find the width of the nose, I'll look at the bottom plane again. By comparing it to the overall width of the face, using my reference, I notice it's about 2.5 times smaller. This comparison makes everything much easier to judge accurately. It's very important not to make mistakes with the nose mass or its boundaries, because this shape will guide the nose and the mouth later on. Think of it as the center of the entire face. It leads your construction and helps every other feature fall perfectly into place. Now, as I look closer, I'll adjust the top and bottom planes slightly because the nose is tilted downward, and I can make small changes while I'm drawing the mass to keep the structure natural and dynamic. Now let's continue with the right eyebrow, but only from the lower side. I'll explain it in detail later as it mirrors the left eyebrow. Next, I'll continue the hairline from the forehead, using straight strokes that follow the head's direction. From the top, the hair should align with the center of the face. I'll compare my drawing with the reference to make sure everything matches. Then, I'll move on to draw the shoulder, which ends right at the same level as the bottom of the face. Now, along the eye line, I'll draw the white of the right eye, leaving a small gap for the tear duct near the inner corner. And finally, the main structure is complete. The head, features, and proportions are now fully built and ready for refinement. Now I'll start sculpting the nose directly on top of the nose mass, as if I'm carving it out of a solid form. This helps me feel the structure. The bony area and the upper cartilage go slightly inward, while the front cartilage projects outward, meeting the bottom plane of the nose, where it gently turns downward. I'll carefully transfer this shape from my reference to keep the proportions accurate. Next, I'll move to the nostril opening, drawing it on the bottom plane, separate from the wing of the nose. The angle of the nostril tilts slightly upward, and the upper edge should be darker, while the lower edge stays lighter. This subtle contrast gives the nose a sense of depth and form. Now, I'll sketch the nasal wing with a very light line, because its boundary is formed by a change of planes, not a sharp contour. It's a soft transition that defines where the light starts to fade. Finally, I'll add a separating line between the cartilage and the nose wing to make the structure appear three-dimensional. You can almost feel the surface turning in space. This stage is all about understanding form, not just copying lines. Think of it like modeling clay. Every subtle curve and shift in value helps you bring the nose to life, making it look solid, real, and beautifully integrated with the rest of the face. When drawing the mouth, start with the upper lip by shaping it like a soft V curve. This gives you the natural dip in the center, known as the Cupid's bow. Next, draw the dividing line between the two lips. This line is crucial because it defines the expression and volume of the mouth. The corners of the lips, on the right and left, should always stay aligned with each other, forming a balanced horizontal relationship. However, the center point of the lips, that little dip in the middle, can move slightly to the right or left depending on the angle or movement of the face. This gives the mouth a more dynamic and realistic appearance. Think of the mouth as being made of separate curved planes or slices that wrap around the structure of the face. This idea helps you understand how the lips follow the form of the head, not just a flat surface. In the first case, when the head tilts downward, the mouth appears slightly curved upward, almost like a gentle smile, because the lips follow the downward tilt of the facial plane. In the second case, when the head tilts upward, the opposite happens. The mouth curves slightly downward, showing more of the underside of the lower lip. Understanding these shape changes will make your portraits look more natural and three-dimensional. Always imagine the mouth as part of a rounded surface, wrapping around the cylinder of the muzzle area of the face. This mindset will make every lip you draw feel alive and properly placed in perspective. When studying and drawing the eye, start by understanding that it sits inside the spherical form of the eyeball, or the white ball of the eye. The eye line cuts across the middle of the sphere, dividing it into upper and lower halves. This helps you place the eye correctly in perspective. At the inner corner, the eye line extends slightly beyond the white ball, forming a small area called the tear duct, lacrimal caruncle. This tiny section is very important for realism. It's what connects the eye to the rest of the facial structure. Now, when drawing the left eye in a three-quarter view, start from the lower eyelid. In this angle, the tear duct becomes almost invisible because the head is turned. We see less of that inner corner. Draw the lower lid as a soft curve, following the contour of the eyeball. Then move to the upper eyelid. It overlaps the eyeball slightly and has noticeable thickness, which is where the upper eyelashes will later be added. The crease above the eyelid, the fold that appears when the eye opens, should follow the same curve as the top of the eyeball and connect with the upper lid near the outer corner. This crease typically ends around the same point where the white of the eye ends at the top. The lower eyelid doesn't wrap exactly on the sphere. It sits just slightly below the edge of the white part, creating a soft shadow and giving the eye volume. Next, draw the iris and cornea. Remember that a large part of the cornea, the transparent dome over the iris, is usually hidden by the eyelids. It's not a perfect circle that sits completely visible. The upper eyelid generally covers the top of the iris, while the lower lid touches or slightly overlaps the bottom edge. Now look carefully at the tear duct area again. Its form follows the lower eyelid's curve and aligns almost parallel to the eye line. The upper eyelid, however, defines the height and openness of the eye. When it lifts, the eye appears wider and more expressive. Continue shaping the eye from the lower lid, paying attention to the curvature of the sphere beneath it. Notice how, in a three-quarters angle, the right edge of the eye appears slightly higher because of the rotation of the head. That's the point where the face transitions from the front plane to the side plane. This small rise is what gives the eye its correct position and perspective. Finally, complete the eye by refining the eyelashes along the eyelids. They should follow the curve of the lids, not go straight out. Observe your reference carefully, matching the direction, thickness, and flow of the lashes to keep a natural look. By understanding how the eyelids wrap around the eyeball, how the tear duct behaves with the head angle, and how perspective affects the curvature, you'll be able to draw convincing, lifelike eyes in any position. When drawing the eyebrow, start by simplifying its shape into straight lines instead of trying to copy every hair or curve right away. Think of the eyebrow as a series of angled planes, not just a curved arch. Each straight segment should follow the main direction of the brow bone, and where two lines meet, a slight change in angle happens. This is what gives the eyebrow its natural rhythm and correct form. Now for the ear, start drawing it from the upper part, where the outer edge begins to curve. Imagine it like the rim of a small umbrella. This soft, circular motion defines the top of the ear, known as the helix. From there, draw the inner shape of the ear, beginning with the inner curve that connects to the upper rim. Continue downward to build the inner folds, like the antihelix and concha, which give the ear its layered structure. The key is to understand the overlapping curves. The outer edge wraps over the inner shapes, creating depth and shadows. At the bottom, connect the forms gently into the earlobe, which usually has a softer, rounder edge compared to the upper cartilage. When shading the ear, always follow the direction of the curves to describe its form. The light usually hits the upper rim and fades as it rolls inward toward the deeper folds. And that's it for today's lesson. Don't forget to like, share the video, and leave a comment. I'll see you all in the next one.